Okay, today we're starting on graphing on the coordinate plane. Basically, you have your ordered pairs to where you put points on a different graph, and it just deals with two number lines. We've already worked with vertical number lines, and we've worked with horizontal number lines. Your vertical number line and your horizontal number line, so up and down and side to side, they're going to be put together and they're going to intersect, which means go together at 0. So if you notice over here, I have the sideways line and the up and down line. They're both, the zeros match up. The horizontal number line is now called the x-axis. The vertical number line is now called the y-axis. So notice that both still have positives, both still have negatives. Alright, the intersecting point is called the origin. Alright, so what we're going to do today is we're going to first of all learn the different parts of the coordinate plane. There's 4 different areas in it, and they're called quadrants. So each of these areas is a quadrant. This one here is the first, the top right is the first, the top left is the second, the bottom left is the third, and the bottom right is the fourth. So you start in the top right, and then instead of going like a clock does, you go counterclockwise. So you're going to go first, second, third, fourth. So basically going backwards from the way that a clock would go. They're written in Roman numerals, and that's how you're supposed to write them. That's why I put under it first, second, third, and fourth, just so you would know which is which. And up here is how the ordered pairs are going to look. I don't have the numbers here, but if something falls in this quadrant, both of them are going to be positive numbers. If something falls into this quadrant, then it'll be a negative and then a positive. This one would be 2 negatives, this one would be a positive and then a negative. So if the first number in an ordered pair is a positive and the second number is a negative, it's going to fall in the 4th quadrant. So that's just a little bit to know leading into it. And the last thing that we'll go over today is reflections. So you have your graph, your coordinate plane is what this is called. It intersects at 0. So if I have something that falls at over 2, up 2, so I put a dot here, and that would be 2, 2, because they're both positive. This is my x-axis, the side to side is my x, the up and down is my y. So if I wanted to reflect it, which when you look in the mirror you see your reflection, so basically it's just on the complete other side. It can either reflect over the x-axis, so it can reflect down here, or it can reflect over the y-axis. It will tell you which one it wants. So if it says to reflect 2, 2 over the x-axis, well, basically it just wants you to move the exact same amount of spots but down here. So I would have to go, it's up 2 here, over 2 here, so I go over and up and then over and down to reflect it over the x-axis. So that right here would be over 2, negative 2 would be the reflection, over the x-axis. If I said to reflect it over the y-axis, then it's just going to go over to here. It would be the same amount.
Students, there's a mandatory art club meeting in Miss Ingram's room at this time. A mandatory art club meeting in Miss Ingram's room at this time.
So instead of reflecting over the x-axis, I would just go over the y-axis. So it would end up falling over here, negative 2 this way, and up 2 there. That would be a reflection over the y-axis. This is a reflection over the x-axis. Alright, here's just another little example of it that's in your book on page 396 if you need to look at it. But you're actually going to write this page right now on your desk in the top right hand corner. So pause the video and write this right now. It needs to have everything that's written here. Pause now. Alright, so you should have this written now, just to make sure that you know where the quadrants are, where they fall. So if I give you an ordered pair, and if I say 2, -3, and I say what quadrant does that fall in? Well, the first one's positive, the second one's negative. So I go and look and I see, well, what's the set that says positive, negative? This one's positive, positive, this one's negative, positive, this one's negative, negative, and this one's positive, negative. So that's positive, that's negative, so it would fall in the fourth quadrant. If I said to plot, we'll move to this screen, plot point -4, 2. When you see an ordered pair, this is your X, this is your Y. So we're going to go over and then up. So we go over -4 and then up 2. So that would be where -4, 2 ends on the plot. If I said to reflect this over the x-axis, so it's going to cross over this horizontal line because that's your x-axis, and I would end up going up 2 here, so I would go from the line, I would go down 2, and it's going to stay the same distance away from left to right. So it would be,
Students, there's an SCA meeting in Miss Becky's room at this time. There's an SCA meeting in Miss Becky's room at this time.
it becomes -4, -2. So -4, -2. Alright, there's several different things that are going to be going on with the coordinate plane. You'll have different plots you have to point. You'll have plots that follows a decimal. So if I said over 2.5, up 0.5, then I would go, there's not a 2.5, so I'd have to fall directly in between 2 and 3, and there's not a 0.5, so I'd have to fall directly in between 0 and 1. So over 2.5, up 0.5, and that point would fall right there. So the reflections are the only thing that are really tricky about this. You just got to, when it asks you to reflect, you got to make sure that you know whether you're reflecting over the X or the Y. If it says reflect over the Y, then it's going to cross the vertical line. If it says reflect over the X-axis, then it's going to cross over the horizontal axis. So good luck. It's pretty easy. I don't expect you to have any trouble with this. So shorter video today. Watch it. Get started. Good luck.